I was sitting on a swing, watching a spider spin its web at the base of a children's slide in the park. It was almost a new day, just a few minutes away. The spider moved back and forth across the slide, weaving its intricate web. I marveled at the complexity of the web, all created in a single night. The spider seemed to have a clear plan: catch food and thrive. Sure, the plan wasn't flawless, but risks are necessary for success. I silently cheered for the spider. My plan might be as simple as the spiders, but I have one too. Only the spiders and crickets could hear me talking. Today is Monday, the first day of my plan. If everything goes well, we'll see the final outcome by the end of the day. My name is Blake Fall. I married Sean shortly after we both graduated from the University of Michigan. We found jobs in the suburbs of Detroit. Our past wasn't particularly thrilling. We were typical college students who dated around but always found our way back to each other. I can be insecure, which often makes me jealous. Sometimes I'm harsh with Sean, especially if I don't approve of how she dresses or acts in public. I've lashed out at her publicly more than once. Not that she's unaware. We've had countless discussions about actions and their consequences. Despite my flaws, Sean agreed to marry me. No problems, right? Sean and I are avid shooters. We've taken every course: defensive pistol courses, basic pistol courses, and the courses required for a concealed carry permit. We participate in shooting tournaments at indoor ranges. Sean has won the Annie Oakley Award for Best Female Shooter multiple times. I'm not as skilled as she is, but I still enjoy it. The Detroit suburbs are generally nice places to live, but in some areas, it's comforting to know she's armed and alert. We still attend a lot of games: football, basketball, and baseball. I played all three sports in high school, but in college, I focused on academics. I wasn't talented enough to compete at the university level. Last Thursday, as Greg, my colleague, slammed his fist on the table, he exclaimed, "It's going to take forever to get home." "How do you know, Greg?" I asked. "I'm looking at the traffic camera at the intersection of Highway 7 and 82. There's a pickup on its side with a car on top of it. There's no way they'll clear that tonight. It's quite the sight." I walked over to Greg's office and looked at the screen, feeling my stomach twist. Next to the paramedics, with her head wrapped in gauze, was Sean, or at least, I thought it was her. She has a unique tattoo on her left arm that stretches from her shoulder to her wrist. The people on the camera were too small to be sure, but it seemed like she missed her flight to Chicago the previous day. The overturned truck looked familiar to me. "Can you get some pictures of the accident?" I asked. "What are you looking for?" Greg responded. "I think I recognize that truck. I need to figure out where I've seen it before, but I know it's familiar." Greg recorded the footage and sent it to me. After zooming in, I was almost certain it was Sean. Yesterday's phone call was complete nonsense. She said the flight was smooth, the hotel was nice, the meetings went well, and she missed me. She mentioned that the next day would be tough, with a late flight, so I shouldn't wait up. On my way home, I was completely distracted. How had they tricked me? How did I know that truck? I couldn't figure it out, but the blue and yellow stripes on the truck haunted me. Sean called around 7 in the evening. "Hi, baby, bad news. My taxi to the airport got into an accident. I'm okay, but I have a deep cut on my forehead. Long story short, I missed my flight. I'll let you know when I land. I love you. Call me." Since I first saw that photo, my heart hasn't stopped racing. Betrayal churns my stomach. Flames roar in my ears. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't eat. My unfolding emotions were killing me, realizing my marriage was a lie. I wanted revenge on both Sean and her lover. I spent the next few hours searching the house, trying to find something, not even knowing what I was looking for. It was frustrating. My boiling rage fueled my search, but nothing caught my attention. Next, I checked the credit card statements. Since Sean travels at least twice a month, I figured there would be some clues in her purchases. In a way, I was right. Comparing her trips with her credit card usage, every other month on one of her trips, there was no credit card activity. These trips only had a parking fee at the airport as the sole charge. She uses her business credit card for tickets, hotels, and trips. Everything else goes on her personal card, and she submits expense reports. Should I believe she paid cash or just didn't eat on those trips? What I saw on the traffic camera made it clear she was taking 2-day vacations with her lover under the guise of business trips. I needed to find out who her lover was, but it wasn't hard. I'll request a copy of the accident report. Sean keeps a filing cabinet with her important papers. I wondered if her expense documents were somewhere in there. She's so organized that it took only a few minutes to find the right folder. Another minute confirmed that the trips without credit card usage weren't recorded on her expense account. I wanted a drink but knew better. Does the length of time really matter? Not really. It was a cold and calculated betrayal. My revenge will match how deeply she deceived me. In the divorce, I'll be fair. She'll get her 50%. We have a prenup, so yes, she'll get her 50%. I found it hard to sleep and needed more coffee to wake up in the mornings. When I turned on my phone, there was a message from Sean saying she'd be home later today. I headed to work without calling back. I dug through divorce advice online. I checked our joint accounts. I'll need to open an account in just my name. With the brokerage account, it was a bit trickier, positions couldn't be moved, so I sold enough to reach the 50% mark. I'll return and transfer my half when the time comes. Not wanting to risk it, I didn't tell any of my friends, family, or colleagues about the impending divorce. At lunch, I got a copy of the police report on the accident. Now there's no doubt, she's listed as a passenger in the pickup truck. I didn't recognize the truck owner's name, Ray Strano. I still wondered how I knew that truck. At least I had her lover's address, it was 3 blocks from where we lived. A quick online check yielded an address record. The lover co-owned it with Jill Strano, probably his wife. Other web pages I found gave some personal info about both Ray and Jill. It looks like they all went to school together with Sean. When Sean called at the end of the workday, I decided it was best to answer, or she'd know something was up. You're back. I've been trying to reach you since yesterday evening. Is everything okay? I found out my phone was off this morning and again around noon. I should check it out. How was your trip? Everything was fine until the taxi ride. I'll have to put on makeup to cover the cut on my forehead. Want to invite a girl for dinner? Of course, though I'm not very hungry. Pick a place, and I'll meet you there. I drove a long way to the restaurant and passed by the Strano house. I didn't see the truck parked outside, but there was a Michigan University flag hanging from the porch. It clicked for me then, that's the truck we see at Michigan football games in Ann Arbor. That's why it has blue and yellow stripes. During dinner, I tried to act normal, but Sean could tell something was wrong. Is something bothering you, Blake? You seem very distracted today. I have a lot on my mind. Don't worry about it. As Sean began her nightly makeup routine, I climbed into bed and pretended to be asleep. In the morning, as I left for work, Sean was still asleep. I rummaged through her car and found a cell phone hidden in the backseat cushions. Turning it on and scrolling through the texts confirmed that Sean and Ray had been at this for months, if not longer. Well, I don't know what your punishment will be, but you'll pay for this. I'm not one for confrontation, and I can't imagine doing anything physical to them both. It required creative thinking. I decided meeting with a lawyer would disrupt my plan. I was utterly stunned upon learning about her affair. If my plan is to succeed, I'll have to act quickly to protect what I can. I bought what I needed and spent the weekend avoiding Sean. She wanted to make love on Saturday, but I declined and fell asleep. She tried again on Sunday evening. We lay in silence. Disappointed, she gave up, and we fell asleep. I got up early on Monday morning and spent some time in the park. I needed to make sure I was on the right path, the one I truly wanted to take. Sean's dilemma. I thought I had everything under control until that phone call. Monday mornings are always tense at work. I answer several calls per hour. My office phone rang, the caller ID showed, private. This is Sean. I know what you're doing with Ray. I want in. The quiet voice belonged to a man. It had an irritatingly high nasal tone. He hung up before I could respond. My mind was racing. I'd been found out. For the rest of the day and evening, I couldn't be myself. One of our nightly habits was having a cup of hot tea, which helps us relax. Blake always drinks it before bed. Blake seemed worried and asked, "Are you sure everything's okay? You seem like something's bothering you today." "I'm fine, just something at work is bothering me. I need to think about other things. Do you know anything that could occupy a girl for a while?" I wanted to say we made love, but it didn't feel like love. I concluded that they weren't going to talk to me. I'll wait and see what happens. Nightmares haunted me about Blake finding out. Reflections convinced me not to see Ray anymore. This is Sean, the same voice as before. Ready to come and please me. No. I hung up this time. Less than a minute later, this is Sean. You both snored last night. You wore a tank top with a blue teddy bear. You sleep on the right side of the bed. I took a picture of you. I doubt he heard my sigh as I hung up after his statement. When I found my car after work, a small envelope was pinned under the windshield wiper. I cried for 30 minutes after seeing the picture of myself taken last night. He was in my bedroom. I felt violated. What had I gotten myself into? That evening at home, I focused on paying bills and organizing receipts. How did he sneak in here in the middle of the night? Is he Ray's friend? Is this Ray's enemy? That voice is unfamiliar to me. I would remember that annoying sound. Blake, do you think we can lock the outside doors? I think so. Why did you bring that up? I just heard about some recent break-ins. I don't want anyone breaking into our home while we're here. I'll add it to our to-do list. I didn't sleep well because every little noise the house made scared me. In the morning, I had a hard time getting myself together. My nightmare continued. This is Sean, the voice which I was so afraid of. Nice pajamas last night, ready to be my woman. Who are you? What do you want? You know what I want. Yours or mine. Come to my place. I'll just destroy you. There was no response. I asked for and got a 2-hour lunch break. I was in complete disarray. Who can I turn to? I kept my affair with Ray a secret from everyone. That's wrong, isn't it? Except from everyone, at least one stalker. Blake and I made love again. Now I wonder if he knows anything. I was so consumed by Ray that I probably missed out on my own personal life. At home, lack of sleep is starting to catch up with me. Blake, I think I'm getting sick. I'll sleep in the guest bedroom so you won't catch anything. No, no, no. I like the firmness of the guest bedroom's bed. I'll sleep there. Blake, I've been having nightmares. I'll keep a gun with me at night. Warn before entering the bedroom, will you? I don't need someone like Annie Oakley surprising me. How about I add a lock to the bedroom door? I'll put it on the to-do list. Sleep well. Now I'm really curious if Blake knows something. What's with the sleep well? He used to always end his goodbyes with, love you. When was the last time I heard, love you? After Blake went to the guest bedroom, I put a chair against my bedroom door. I placed some trinkets on the windowsill and tucked the gun under Blake's pillow. Hopefully, if my stalker shows up tonight, he'll make enough noise to wake me, and I'll destroy him. This is Sean. Well, I dropped by, but no one destroyed me. Beautiful trinkets. I took a few of them. With Blake in another room, maybe I can disable him, then you and I can have some fun. The headboard of the bed should be perfect for handcuffs. He hung up before I could react. I rushed home for lunch, and 3 trinkets were missing. I dashed to my bathroom. What have I gotten myself into? If I go to the police, Blake will find out about my affair. What choice do I have? I have to tell someone. I'm not going to be a target for some fool. Ray wanted to meet tonight, but I declined. I have a disposable phone that I keep in the car, and I use it to communicate with Ray. I told him we need to cool off for now. His text indicated he wasn't happy with this decision. I don't know if this guy found me following Ray. I'm so scared and confused. Should I just go along with his offer? Where is this going to end? Maybe I should tell Blake and ask for his help. My poor performance at work was noticed by my immediate boss. I got the standard pep talk. It's so awkward, I've never needed this before. As I walked to his office, I felt him watching me and heard giggles. I cried for an hour before Blake came home. I freshened up and put on some new makeup before joining him for dinner. I felt a bit calmer. I thought, try sneaking in now. On Friday morning, I tried to be productive, but that didn't last long after his call. This is Sean. The bells were cute. They got me a little excited, but you slept through it all. Did you see that I unloaded your gun and left the bullets on the windowsill? I returned your trinkets, too. I need Blake. I can't do this alone. I'll still have to do it alone. What a mess. The weekend isn't coming soon enough. At least he won't torment me at work. What if he's planning something for me this weekend? Blake was completely happy avoiding me since the trip was planned for next Wednesday. I didn't know whether to agree or cancel. When is this guy coming for me? Is he so sick that he needs to follow me on the road? Blake was fast asleep when I finished. He never sleeps in late. I shook him several times before he came to. He sat up and looked at me, somewhat puzzled. Oh, wow, am I not myself today? Almost 9. Are you feeling okay? Rubbing his neck, he flinched. I looked and saw a spider bite or something similar on his neck. It looks like you got bitten. Let me get you a plaster. The rest of the morning was filled with the Usual weekend chores. Around lunchtime, Blake went out to get Jamba Juice. My cell phone rang, and the caller ID was private. My mom hides all her calls, so I answered. Hi, I tried the sleeping pill on Blake last night. Since he's alive, I think we can move forward. I hung up the phone, shaking. My legs felt weak, and I couldn't hold back my nausea. I sprayed a lot of deodorant to cover any traces. I need to tell Blake. I can't keep living like this. But I can't tell Blake. I'm so confused and messed up. Why did I even do this? My head was spinning. All this drama for what? This isn't love. Ray was never that great of a lover, not even in high school. What was I thinking, getting involved with him? Sunday wasn't any better than Saturday. Every time the phone rang, my blood pressure spiked. When I answered the private call, he was there again. Blake was working in the backyard on the lawnmower. Hi, time's up, Sean. Next time you're alone, you'll be mine. And the line went dead before I could respond. I was sweating and trembling. Sooner or later, I'll be alone in the house. I can't take it anymore. The day dragged on. I nervously watched the clock. I didn't feel like sleeping today. Just before bedtime, my world turned upside down. I need to run back to the office. I won't be gone for more than 90 minutes. Please don't go, Blake. Can't this wait until morning? I'll be gone just for a little while. We'll see each other soon. I made sure all doors and windows were locked, closing the bedroom door and hanging up wind chimes. I sat on the bed with the lights on, grabbing the gun from under the pillow. I checked the magazine and made sure it was loaded. My heart raced, and I panicked when I heard the floor creak. I hesitated, pointing the gun at the door and window. When the doorbell rang, I fired. I heard a noise and shot again and again and again. The door swung open, and a person dressed in black fell face down. I was shaking and realized I had wet the bed. I was trembling so much that I could barely use my phone. What happened? I think I just killed someone in my house. I have a gun, and I'm scared to go near him. Try to stay calm, ma'am. Can you give me your address? 5 minutes later, although it felt like hours had passed, the first patrol car arrived. A minute later, the ambulance and several paramedics arrived. Within half an hour, the place was swarming with police. I wanted Blake. I needed Blake. Where was Blake? In our state, there's the do-it-yourself law. Uninvited guests in your home, dispose of them as you see fit. If an uninvited guest dies, the case is closed. Paramedics quickly took the man to the hospital. He was alive. Blake is sitting and waiting. I told Sean I was going to the office. In the garage, I put on gloves. I found Sean's disposable phone in her car, copied the message that angered me earlier, and sent it to Ray. It hadn't changed, just like months ago. The time stamp was almost identical to back then. I put her phone back where I found it. I turned onto her street and waited until the only light in her bedroom came on. I had to wait only a few minutes. I returned and unlocked the front door. I hurried away and soon found myself in my office. We have many surveillance cameras, and I need my access card to get through the gates, into the building, and then to my office. I turned on my computer but just sat there, contemplating. Will this really work? Once I devised my plan, I bought a disposable phone and downloaded a voice masking app. I noticed Sean was really anxious that first night at home. Every night, I put a sleeping pill in her tea. Once she drank it and got into bed, she would pass out. That first night, I moved her to get a good picture and printed it. The panic in her voice on the second day was exactly what I wanted. Since she was unconscious every night, I could make a lot of noise, and she wouldn't wake up. On Friday night around 3 a.m., I stood up and poked my scalp with a pen. I thought about the text from a few months ago that really upset me. He just left for the office. Come to me quickly. You don't have much time. Here's the translation of your text into English, keeping its meaning and style. I plan to go home in about an hour or when the police call. An hour would mean the plan didn't work. If the police called, it would mean success. My cell phone rang. This is Blake. Mr. Fall. Who's this? Sir, this is Sergeant Willis. There's been a shooting at your house. Your wife is okay but very shaken. Can you come home to comfort her? I'm on my way already. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Who doesn't enjoy when a plan works out? Arriving home, the area was filled with red and blue flashing lights. I passed the guards and went into my house. When Sean saw me, she jumped up, hugged me tightly, and started crying. Detective Sampson was sitting across from us. Mrs. Fall, an uninvited guest named Ray Strano is here. Do you know him? Oh my God. No, Blake, I'm so sorry, Sean said, breaking down in tears. Excuse me, detective, my wife is clearly upset. Please give her a moment to calm down. All right, let's try this again. You know Ray Strano, don't you? We went to high school together. At that moment, an officer patted Detective Sampson on the shoulder and whispered in his ear. He got up and left the room for a moment. I did my best to look shocked when he returned and started speaking. Mrs. Fall, I'm going to have to take you in for questioning. Officer, please handcuff her. Sean Fall, you have the right to remain silent. What's happening, detective? We found his cell phone. Your wife invited him over tonight. We need to get to the bottom of this. What's happening? How could you, Blake? I didn't do anything like that. Please don't leave. I need you. I walked out of the house without looking back. That's all I could do to keep from smirking. From the driveway, I watched as they took Sean away. She kept pleading, help me, Blake. Please help me. It was only a matter of time before they found your phone and the message you sent inviting Ray over. I made sure they locked up the house after the yellow tape went up. I spent the night in a motel. Even the most outrageous plans have a chance of working out. Sean used her one call to involve her parents. The police got a warrant and found Sean's burner phone with the history of these burners talking and texting each other. It didn't look good for Sean. My first call was to start divorce proceedings. Finances were uncovered and documented. Sean gets her 50%, but I won't have to pay her legal fees. I withdrew half of the money from our joint accounts in cash. I opened a new account in just my name and changed my direct deposit to that account. The brokerage account was simple since half of it was in cash. The divorce lawyer handled everything before Ray could take any legal action. That was good. He told me once the yellow tape was removed, I collected all of Sean's things and took them to her parents' house. I hired professionals to clean the house. My lawyer went with me to the only police interrogation I was invited to. She tried to convince them that I had set Sean up. That was the only thing that made any sense to her because she told them she didn't send that last message. When they checked for tower information on her phones, they found it matching my story and their assumption that she was the criminal. Only 2 of the 5 shots hit. I guess I can live with that, although I was hoping for more from all those gun trainings. I watched from the gallery as she pleaded her case. They were after her, but she never told anyone about her affair. She never sent that message. My husband must have known and set me up. The press caught wind of her being offered a plea deal. I think her overconfidence in handling things got the better of her again. She was found guilty and got a 20-year sentence. I didn't wait for the divorce to start seeing other people. There are many fans eager to help a husband once the wife is out of the picture. Sean's money ran out quickly while she was fighting for her freedom. I wasn't responsible for that. Even if Ray tried to sue, there were no joint assets of much value. Paying a lawyer just for a moral win didn't make sense, so there was no trial. I really need help dealing with jealousy.